The air inside Levo Ristorante and nightclub buzzed with electric energy that only Los Angeles could conjure on a Thursday night. Velvet ropes held back paparazzi flashes and breathless onlookers as the city's most notorious playground for the rich and recklessly beautiful pulsed with celebrity energy. Inside, beneath cascading chandeliers and the heavy scent of designer perfume, Timothee Chalamet nursed a lowball glass of Japanese whiskey at the VIP corner table. He wore a silk Saint Laurent shirt unbuttoned just enough to suggest recklessness, his curls damp with sweat from the dance floor. His on-again off-again flame, Kylie Jenner, was allegedly out of town on a business trip in Paris. But Timothee, he was very much in town. And not alone. That's when she walked in. Sienna Vale, a rising model-turned-actress with sharp cheekbones, emerald eyes, and an Instagram following that had recently surpassed 20 million. She'd been rumored to have beef with Kylie ever since a controversial Met Gala seating chart leaked showing Sienna placed directly next to Timothee, a decision that reportedly sent Kylie storming into Anna Wintour's office in a private rage. Sienna didn't glance at Timothee right away. She took her time, smiling, dancing with friends, letting the cameras catch her at just the right angles. But 15 minutes later, she was sitting next to him, laughing into his ear, her hand resting dangerously on his knee. The body language said everything. Someone caught it on their phone. A blurry but undeniable video clip showing Timothee and Sienna locked in what could only be described as intense flirtation. The clip hit Twitter within hours. The caption? Kylie's in Paris, but Timmy's got company #LAVianite, #Chalamet drama. It exploded. By morning, TMZ, Dumois, and even French Vogue were dissecting every pixel. Was it a date? A betrayal? Or just a publicity stunt? But what the cameras didn't catch was what Sienna whispered in Timothee's ear before they vanished into the club's private lounge. Do you think she'll come back when she sees this? The question hung in the air like cigarette smoke. By the time Kylie Jenner's jet touched down at Le Bourget Airport, her phone was a war zone. Texts, missed calls, mentions blowing up. Kris Jenner had already left her 3 voicemails, each more intense than the last. Her assistant, Ivy, broke the news gently. You're trending, but not for the makeup launch. Kylie stared at the screen in silence. Then tapped play. There it was. A video that had been reposted over 8 million times. Timothee and Sienna Vale, shoulder to shoulder in a smoky club booth, laughing, leaning in close, lips nearly touching. Sienna's hand had slid onto Timothee's thigh like it belonged there. She played it again, and again. A strange mix of rage and heartbreak curdled in her stomach. She and Timmy hadn't exactly been exclusive, not in official terms. But there had been conversations, promises, late-night FaceTimes from hotel balconies. He even helped name the new lip shade in her Valentine's collection, Moonlight Muse, inspired by a night they spent together in Milan. So why was he cuddled up with Sienna freaking Vale? Back in LA, the fallout was nuclear. Gossip accounts were running side-by-side timelines comparing Sienna's outfits to Kylie's, noting similarities down to the shoes. Fans were digging through interviews, finding cryptic quotes. An older video surfaced from a red carpet 6 months ago. A reporter asked Sienna if she admired any moguls in beauty. She smiled, paused, and said, I love visionaries, not influencers who slap their name on stuff. Shade. Confirmed. Timothee, for his part, said nothing. No tweet. No statement. Just silence. But what fans did notice was a story he posted at 2:14 a.m. A blurry shot of a record spinning, with the caption, Some nights just hit different. The song playing? Frank Ocean's Bad Religion. Within hours, TikTok detectives began their descent. Edits flooded For You pages. Sienna x Timmy versus Kai x Timmy. Fandoms clashed. Hashtags trended globally. But behind the smoke and filters, something deeper was brewing. Sienna wasn't just any model. She was once signed to Storm Management under the same agent who used to rep Kylie, until a messy contract dispute left them estranged. There were whispers that Sienna had waited years to get her revenge. And now, with one night, one video, one carefully placed hand, she had it. But here's the twist no one saw coming. The video wasn't leaked randomly. It was sent anonymously to Dumois 20 minutes after it was taken. And the IP address? Came from inside the club. 3 years earlier, London Fashion Week. Backstage at the Alexander McQueen show, 21-year-old Sienna Vale sat in a metal chair while a hairstylist wove gold threads into her braid. It was her breakout moment. The room buzzed with publicists, stylists, and editors, but her focus was on one person, Kylie Jenner. Kylie had swept in with her entourage 10 minutes before the show started. Wearing custom latex mugler and flanked by security, she looked untouchable. When Sienna caught her eye across the makeup mirrors, Kylie gave a quick once-over, then turned away without a word. Sienna's jaw tightened. At the time, Sienna had just been signed by Storm Models after a year of struggling in New York. Her agent had told her Kylie might be scouting for a face to represent a new product line, Kylie Body. The campaign would shoot in Bora Bora. Life-changing money. Global visibility. And rumor was Kylie herself would handpick the girls. Sienna didn't get picked. Instead, Kylie gave the spot to a blonde influencer with 5 million fewer followers and no runway experience. A week later, Sienna was quietly dropped from the project after an NDA was mysteriously broken, a clause she swore she never violated. She knew it had been personal. And she never forgot. Now, Los Angeles, 2:37 p.m. Sienna was getting a lymphatic drainage massage when her publicist barged in with an iPad. "You broke the internet. Congrats." On screen, TikToks, memes, headlines, fan edits. Her name was everywhere. But the vibe was split. Half the world saw her as a homewrecker, the other half? A goddess. A modern-day Helen of Troy. Sienna leaned back, expression unreadable. Let them talk. What they didn't know, what no one knew, was that the night at Lavo had been meticulously planned. Not by Timothee. Not even entirely by her. By Ari Rhodes, her new manager. The same Ari who used to work for the Kardashian-Jenner PR empire. The same Ari who left under very mysterious circumstances. She had a vendetta. And Sienna? She was the perfect weapon. If you want to win this game, Ari had said weeks before, you don't outshine Kylie. You outmaneuver her. The plan had been simple. Get close to Timothee. Be seen. Vanish. It worked better than expected. What Sienna hadn't anticipated was how natural it felt, sitting next to Timmy. The banner. The glances. The way he asked her about real things, her poetry, her mom's favorite movie, Cinema Paradiso, the first time she ever felt seen. There was something real there, which was not part of the plan. Meanwhile, Hidden Hills, Kylie's mansion. Kylie stood barefoot in her marble kitchen, staring out the window, her phone buzzing nonstop. She hadn't responded publicly. Not yet. But her silence was strategic. She was working behind the scenes, pulling strings like only a Jenner Kardashian could. A call to Balmac confirmed that Sienna was being dropped from their lineup. A leaked email ensured her makeup artist wouldn't be booked for the next fashion week. Quiet moves, but powerful ones. The empire didn't roar, it whispered. But even as she played chess, Kylie's heart stung. She missed Timothee. Missed the way he read French poetry in bed. Missed how he always ordered dessert, even when they both swore they were detoxing. She didn't want to admit it, but seeing him smile at someone else, it felt like betrayal. Don't go nuclear, Chris had warned. Not yet. Let the story come to you. And it did. That night, a cryptic tweet from Timothee, his first since the scandal broke. Sometimes silence is the only honest answer. 7,000 retweets in the first hour. Later that night, the Chateau Marmont. Timothee sat in the penthouse suite, alone. His phone buzzed again. Sienna. She texted 3 times. No response. He was spiraling, unsure how everything had gone so wrong so fast. He hadn't planned to fall into anything messy. He liked Sienna, but liked wasn't supposed to be feelings. And Kylie, she had never been just a fling. In truth, he was tired of being everyone's narrative. The sensitive indie prince. The forbidden boy toy. The accessory to female ambition. No one ever asked what he wanted. Not really. He opened his notes app. Is it possible to love 2 people in completely different ways and still be honest? He didn't post it. But he wanted to. Instead, he threw on a hoodie, pulled the hood low, and slipped out the service entrance. He needed air. What he didn't know was that Kylie had just landed back in L.A., and she was coming straight to him. 1:03 a.m., the Chateau Marmont lobby. Timothee was halfway through a cup of black coffee in the dimly lit lobby bar when the air shifted. He didn't have to look up to know who had just walked in. He felt her, the way the energy in a room folds when Kylie Jenner enters it. It was instinctual, a force of nature. She didn't speak at first. just slid into the chair across from him in a black Balenciaga coat. Sharp. You're lucky I came alone, she said, finally. Timothy set down the cup. His fingers twitched. I didn't ask you to. She laughed, not kindly. You didn't have to. Your little midnight spark, with Sienna, made sure of that. He wanted to defend himself. Say it wasn't what it looked like. That it was complicated. But the truth was, it wasn't complicated at all. Not anymore. Kylie. I didn't leak that video. But you didn't stop it from being real. Silence stretched between them. The bartender pretended not to listen. You could have called me, she added. I thought you were done calling me. That stopped her for a second. She hated when he was right. I was busy working. So was I. But what neither of them said was the truth buried beneath the PR, the pettiness, the passive-aggressive Instagram stories. They missed each other. Fiercely. Painfully. But pride was a louder voice than love tonight. Kylie stood. I hope she was worth it. She wasn't supposed to mean anything. Neither was I, apparently. She turned to leave. Then stopped. Check your email, Timmy. And just like that, she was gone. 2:24 a.m., Timothy's suite. He opened the email. No subject line. One attachment. A PDF contract. With his signature. From 6 months ago. It was a brand collaboration proposal. Jenner Communications ex Chalamet for a luxury skincare line. The project had never gone public. It had been scrapped quietly after he'd missed a key planning meeting to fly to Italy with Sienna for a film shoot. He'd forgotten about the deal entirely. But Kylie hadn't. Attached was a note she'd handwritten and scanned. We could have built something real. Instead, you gave your loyalty to a girl who doesn't even like moisturizer. K. Meanwhile, West Hollywood, Sienna's apartment. Sienna sat curled on her velvet sofa in an oversized Nirvana tee, watching the clip again. Not the Lavo video, something else. A leaked CCTV security cam from outside the Chateau. Kylie walking in. And an hour later. Kylie walking out. Sienna's phone buzzed. It was Ari. We need to move. Now. I haven't heard from him. That's the point. Ari explained what was coming. Kylie had been laying digital traps for weeks. Quietly pulling brand deals from under Sienna, isolating her glam squad, tightening the narrative. She'd even arranged for an anonymous source to provide receipts of Timmy and Sienna's European frications from months ago, complete with geotags and timestamps. She's trying to erase you from the game. Sienna's hands trembled, but her voice was cold. Then we give them the real story. Ari paused. Are you sure? Leak it. All of it. The voice note. The texts. The Milan photos. I don't care. Ari hesitated. If we go scorched earth, we don't go back. Sienna didn't blink. Burn it down. 8:07 a.m., Dumois inbox. Subject? You want tea? I've got the pot. Anonymous submission. IP masked. Encrypted zip file. Inside. A 40-second voice note from Timothy telling Sienna he was done being the side character in someone else's empire. A photo of him wearing Sienna's ring on a chain. A video of them reading Pablo Neruda in bed in Paris, timestamped during Kylie's birthday week. And perhaps most damning, a selfie of him kissing Sienna's forehead with the caption, Some hearts are louder than brands. The internet detonated. 12:31 p.m., Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Hashtag Timmy exposed. Hashtag Kylie unbothered. Hashtag Sienna speaks. Kylie responded with a 5-second muted video of her holding Stormy on her lap, sipping an iced matcha on the balcony of her Hidden Hills estate. She didn't say a word. The caption? When you've already won nail polish heart. But insiders said otherwise. Kris Jenner had called emergency meetings. Brand partners were uneasy. The narrative was slipping. Sienna had gone viral again, but this time as the girl who broke Kylie's armor. And Timothy? He posted a black square to Instagram. No caption. Over 4 million likes in 2 hours. And more questions than answers. That night, back at the Chateau, all three of them were in the same city, within 10 miles of each other. But for the first time since the triangle began, none of them wanted to be seen. Day 6, Los Angeles, 6:45 p.m. The sun over LA had the audacity to shine like nothing had happened. But for Timothee Chalamet, nothing felt real anymore. He was holed up in a rental home in the hills, a glass box of silence with blackout shades pulled low. For days, he hadn't gone out, hadn't answered calls. He existed in a haze of sleepless nights, scrolling comments and watching edits of his own face like he was a character on someone else's show. There were teams now. Factions. Hashtag Team Kylie, the loyal queen betrayed. Hashtag Team Sienna, the artistic rebel who finally fought back. And then a few stragglers still defending hashtag Timmy himself. But even those were dwindling. He stared at himself in the mirror. Pale. Hollow. Tired in a way no Gucci under-eye serum could fix. What the hell am I doing? He reached for his phone. Typed the name. Then deleted it. Again. Kylie, Hidden Hills. Kylie was back to work. Sort of. A camera crew followed her through her marble hallway for a promo shoot. Hair immaculate. Outfit curated. Storm-eyed dancing just out of frame. But the spark was off. Even Chris noticed. You want to talk about it? No. But she did. She just didn't know how. This wasn't about Sienna anymore. It wasn't even about Timmy. Not really. It was about trust. About giving someone access to the parts of you that aren't curated, the messy, anxious, deeply human parts, and then watching them hand that vulnerability to someone else. Sienna, downtown LA. Sienna lit a cigarette on the fire escape of a boutique hotel, watching her name tick upward on Google Trends. She'd done interviews, posed for the cut, launched a lipstick shade called Scandal Baby that sold out in 6 minutes. Her followers had doubled, so had her income. But at what cost? She hadn't spoken to Timothy since the leak. She knew Ari had gone too far, but she hadn't stopped her, hadn't told her no, because she wanted it to hurt. She didn't expect it to hurt her, too. A knock on the door. Timothy. The final meeting, 8:13 p.m. She opened the door. Said nothing. He stepped inside, looking like he hadn't slept in a week. Why didn't you tell me you were going to leak everything? Would you have let me? No. But I deserve to know. A beat of silence. You meant something to me, she said. But I wasn't going to let myself be a footnote in your romance with a billionaire. You never were. Weren't I? The pain in her voice was sharp, but calm. Honest. You chose her, even when you didn't. He stepped closer. What if I choose neither of you? Then at least it'll be your choice. 1 week later, Kylie Jenner posted a 2-minute video titled, Unfiltered. It was raw. No makeup. Just her voice. I'm not perfect. I fall for people who feel like poetry, who look at me and see more than a name. Sometimes I lose them. Sometimes I never had them in the first place. But I'm done performing heartbreak for the public. This one's just for me. 20 million views in 24 hours. A flood of support. Then quiet. She didn't name Timothy once. But she didn't have to. The final statement, Timothee Chalamet's Instagram. Black text on white background. No comments. I love two people in different ways. One saw my silence as peace. The other saw it as betrayal. They were both right. And I was wrong for trying to live in the space between. 6 months later, Venice Film Festival. The red carpet shimmered under a sea of flashbulbs. Kylie arrived alone, radiant in vintage Vivienne Westwood. Confident. Unbothered. Her skincare brand had just hit $500 million in valuation. Sienna followed an hour later, wearing archival Dior, smiling like she had nothing left to prove. Her indie film had been nominated for Best Debut Performance. Timothy arrived last. No date. No entourage. Just him. He paused for photos, smiled politely, then slipped inside to watch them both. Epilogue. No one knows what happened after Venice. Some say he rekindled things with Kylie in secret. Others say he and Sienna met in Montauk that fall. But those who saw him walking alone on the beach a month later said he looked lighter. As if, finally, he'd let go of the triangle and stepped into the only thing that ever truly belonged to him. His own story.